In this section, we will see a practical example of drafting contractual letters. We will see how to draft a contractual letter with real-life practical examples. The procedures discussed in this section are good contractual practices, which, if followed, extends contractual advantages. Writing a contractual letter to the client regarding payment delays is the case for this lecture. We will see step by step how to write a contractual letter to the client regarding the payment delays. Let's understand the case first. Let's assume that you are from the contractor side in a big industrial project. Your client is not paying you on time. Instead, they are always delaying, checking the RA bills and releasing the payments. As a result, your organization suffers a lot in the cash flow as the client is not paying, so you are being unable to make payments to your vendors for supplying materials and your workforce, which is in turn delaying the project progress. The project progress is largely hampered due to the issue. So you need to write a letter to the client. The situation demands to communicate with your client. You decided to write a letter to them. So the step one is find out what are the objectives of the letter. You have two objectives to suffice with this letter. First, you have to push the client for making the payment so that you can pay your creditors, that is your sub-vendors for supply of materials, and the workforce to ease the resource mobilization for project work. And second, you need to make a record of the fact that your client is delaying to make a payment so that at a later date you can justify the delay occurred due to this reason. Now that our objective of writing the letter is clear enough, let's start drafting the letter. First, you have to give the letter an identification. Put the letter reference number on the top as per your outgoing letter register entry. Mention the date of issuing the letter. As an example, you are giving the reference number of the letter as per your outgoing letter register, where your organization's name, the client's name, the project code, and the serial number of the letter is mentioned. This can be customized as per your organization's standard. And also you are giving the date of the letter. Next is addressing to the recipient. Depending on the frequency of the event's occurrence, the recipient is to be decided. You need to see whether you are writing specifically for any bill or the payment delays in general. While you are addressing to the recipient, first check in the contract if the hierarchies of correspondences are mentioned. If it is provided there, follow the same. You can always mark to the senior level in the copy of the letter. And if it is not provided, you may decide the correspondence hierarchies depending upon the seriousness and the impact of the issue. This is a sample matrix of hierarchies while writing a letter. You can study this and decide, depending on the impact and severity of the issue, to which level you can address or you should address while writing a contractual letter. While you escalate, the copy of the letter must be marked to the recipients of the previous letters on the same issue. If the contract specified a contact person for all the communications, while you are escalating, you must address the letter to the intended recipient and keep the higher officials marked in the copy. When writing to a project level representative of client, you can do the addressing like this. Designation of the recipient first, then the name of the project as per the contract, not what you call it. Write the project name only as it is spelled out in the contract. Then write the name of the organization. This is your client organization. And then the address of the organization or the address of the project site as it is mentioned in the contract. Below that, mention the name of the recipient with a kind attention mark. When you are writing to a corporate level representative of client, then you can address like this. The designation of the recipient, then the name of the organization, the address of the organization as mentioned in the contract, and provide the name of the recipient with a kind attention mark. The step 4 is writing the subject of the letter. Write a crisp subject which sum up the content of the letter. Anyone who is reading the subject should be able to differentiate it and understand what it's all about. When you are writing a reminder, you may add a reminder X. X being the number of the reminder. For the present case, a sample subject line can be request for immediate release of the outstanding payment of third running account bill. Here, you are showing the courtesy and being polite. At the same time, you are mentioning what you want and specifying the object. Step 5 is mentioning the references. Each letter pertaining to a particular contract must include the following. First, the contract identification. This may be the work order number, the letter of award number, or the contract agreement reference. Second, any previous correspondence on the same subject. That is any kind of letter or any minutes of meeting or any other relevant document on the same subject you have already issued to the client or signed jointly. Next is any previous correspondence on a relevant subject, that is may not be directly on the same subject but quite related with it. Next is any jointly agreed documents. For example, the joint measurement records, pour records, or quality test reports, etc., which your client has jointly signed with you. And last but not least, any public document or law of the land if you find it relevant for the subject of the letter. When said correspondence, it includes the letters, emails, record notes of any meeting between the parties, etc. A list of sample references are given here. The first is the work order number, which is the contract identification in this case. And the next are the earlier communications, that is the relevant letters and record notes of meetings held in between the parties given serially. The step 6 is writing the body of the letter. This is the most important part of the letter. Write a to the point, crisp message in the body. Make sure that the objectives of writing the letter are met. In the first para, write the facts for which you are writing the letter. Describe in short the issues. Substantiate the facts with proofs. The references mention relevant contract clauses and earlier correspondences. As an example, you can see we have started this letter with addressing the person, dear sir. This is to bring to your kind attention that we have not yet received the outstanding payment pertaining to the third running account bill of the above referred contract, refer serial 1 above, for the work done of the month of November 2018. Here, not yet received the outstanding payment refers to the purpose of writing the letter. Next, you have specified the bill. This is the third running account bill whose payment is sought after. And the next, the contract is identified. The third running account bill pertains to the above referred contract, the referred serial 1 above. In the serial 1 and the reference list, you have already mentioned the identification of the contract, that is the work order number. So the contract is identified. In the next para, substantiate the facts. Less story, more facts and numbers. Refer to the relevant contract clauses, the earlier correspondences, and the law of the land if required. Kindly note that the above bill amounting INR 3.52 crore along with all the supporting documents including the POR records, quality test reports and measurement sheets signed jointly with your site representative related to it has been submitted to your office on 7th December 2018. It has become payable to us on 6th January 2018 as per the contract clause number 23A, but the payment is not yet released by your office for reasons unknown to us. This has caused an acute fund crisis for the project as we are unable to pay our material suppliers and workers on time, which is affecting the resource flow for the project and thereby that project timeline also. The earlier communications and record notes of the meeting held with your office are referred from serial number 2 to 4 above. Now, here you are specifying the amount, which is INR 3.52 crores. Next, you have mentioned the submission date of the bill, which is 7th December 2018, and the contractual clause you have also referred, which is 23A in this case. Next, you have described the impact that you are unable to pay your material suppliers and workers on time, and it is affecting the progress flow. Next, you have referred to your earlier communications with your client. So all the important facts and figures are given here. In the last para, conclude with your desired solution or ask for one. Finish with a note of thanks. As an example, if you write, you are hereby requested to kindly release the said payment of INR 3.52 crores within next 2 days to maintain the cash flow for the project and avoid further hampering of the progress. Here, you have specified the amount, which is INR 3.52 crores. You have specified your desired time of releasing the payment, which is the next 2 days. And at the same time, you have put your effort to state that some hampering already done by the payment delay. Mentioning your specific desired action is very important. The step 7 is putting your signature. Yes, this is also important. Make clear in which capacity you are writing the letter. Make sure to mention that you are writing the letter on behalf of your organization. Here, you have given a note of thanks by writing thanking you and assuring of our best services always. Next, you have written your organization's name and made sure that you are writing it on behalf of your organization. Then, you have written your name and capacity of writing the letter. Post signature, list out all the documents you have attached with the letter to substantiate what you have written. Mention all the persons along with their designations and organization's name, whom you want to mark a copy of the letter. Now here, you have given a list of the enclosures and a list of people whom you want to officially inform the issue. While you have finished writing the letter, check for spelling and grammatical mistakes. If possible, take help of a spell checking software. Spelling and grammatical errors looks too bad on a contractual letter and even can be detrimental if produced before a law court for some reason. Check for proper spelling of name of persons and organizations. Check for attaching the correct documents, if any. Ensure a receipt proof from the recipient, especially if it is a hard copy letter submitted by hand. Look for a signed and stamped receipt from the recipient. Now you have a complete contractual letter. Try your hands on some more common project issues. Keep in mind that practice makes you better.